Hello friends. So today, as a part of our learning video, we would get into the details of hydronephrosis. In the last video, which you can see in our earlier videos, we discussed about what is hydronephrosis, how does it happen, what is the incidence, what are the ways to follow it up. Now in this video today, what we are going to discuss is how we manage this condition. Now before we start, there are often parents who come to me or come to us pediatric surgeons and say, can you guarantee that my child will be alright? Now to those people I would like to say around 98% of kids having antenatal hydronephrosis, that is diagnosed before birth, will not require surgery. Only 2% of kids will eventually require surgery. And mind you, I am making it absolutely clear, termination of pregnancy for unilateral, that is one-sided, or both-sided, that is bilateral hydronephrosis, is absolutely not recommended unless the child has some sort of extra-renal life-threatening complications. So these recommendations are made on a logic, and let us stick to that. So coming to the management of hydronephrosis, now just a run through. This is the kidneys, these are the dilated pelvis, this is the narrowing here, and these are the affected ureters, and you can see for comparison these are the normal kidneys, and there is a smooth pelvic calyceal system ending in a smooth ureter and going into the bladder. So this is the diseased part. Now at birth, after the child is born, generally the ultrasonography is done after 2 days, so that the adequate hydration of the child is done, and then we have a better report. Now ultrasound, if it shows dilatation of pelvis, it needs to be monitored, monthly ultrasonographies, and if there is some sort of other conditions like bilateral affection, that is both sides are having hydronephrosis, we need to hurry few things up. We need to include MCU, that is micturating cystourethrogram, and our threshold for waiting or monitoring the child will be little less, and we will be more proactive. Suppose in addition to this there is an obstruction at the level of the urinary bladder, then it becomes an emergency which needs to be dealt early. Now let us stick to plain unilateral hydronephrosis, which we commonly see. By the way, the incidence of bilateral hydronephrosis in antenatal ultrasound ranges between 25 to 30%. Now what happens here is, since there is an obstruction here, you can see there is an obstruction here, there is a dilated pelvic calyceal system, and there is a tapered ureter which is going into the bladder. Now what do we do? How do we bypass this? Now there are various approaches, various treatment modalities that can be done, but I will stick to the most common surgical method that is used for this condition. That is the dismembered pyeloplasty, or what we do here is, this is the affected part. We operate on the child, open the abdomen, reach the kidneys, define these areas, cut this part and this part. So this part is removed. This is the diseased part. Now after this is removed, we anastomose, or we join this healthy ureter. This healthy ureter goes and joins with the remnant of the part. So the diseased part is removed, and we have a healthy ureter which is being attached to the pelvis. Now most of the pediatric surgeons, they generally put a stent. Stent is something which is a tube-like structure which goes through the ureter and rest inside the bladder. There are openings here, so while the anastomosis is done, the urine can go, because after we join these two parts, there might be some amount of edema which might obstruct the flow of urine in the immediate post-operative period. What do we do to bypass it? this is what we do. We put a DJ stent, that is double J stent. Double J stent because it is something like this. Now there are holes here through which urine which is collected goes down through this tube and goes into the bladder directly, bypassing this part which is freshly joined intraoperatively. Now this is again not a permanent thing. Say around a month later we do a endoscopy or a cystoscopy and through the urethra we go into the bladder. We don't open anything here, we just put a cystoscope inside the bladder, hold it with an instrument and just pull it out. So this is what basically is done in a case of congenital PUJ obstruction which required surgery. Mind you, all PUJ obstructions do not require surgery. Now again, the basic principle remains same, but there are various modalities. We can do it by the open method, laparoscopically, or now robotic surgeries are also being done. So this basically is the treatment module, the treatment algorithm for the management of congenital pelvic ureteric junction obstruction or congenital hydronephrosis treatment. I hope I have made myself clear. Thank you for listening. So friends, hope you liked our videos. To spread awareness about various surgical conditions affecting our children, I would like you to please like and subscribe our channel.